Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Investing Analysis. Well, this is a more Investing Analysis monthly overview because it's the beginning of the month. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Once again, no camera because my laptop doesn't like it when I put my camera on. But oh well, you just have to listen to my voice and watch the charts. Take a quick water swig and yeah, let's just get into it. So obviously this is going to be the layout. We're going to start off with the signals, the portfolio, macro analysis, trading view data, on-chain data, thoughts throughout the following month where Bitcoin is going to go next, new coins for the forward slash put positions that I'm looking at. Matter of fact, I would actually put that it's going to be basically just before here. Anyway, I've rambled on, so let's just get into it. So, first things first, start off with the signals. So, within the dip buy and take profit, we've obviously had no new signals yet. We are on the side of looking for a take profit soon, but obviously nothing has appeared yet. Dip buy, same again. That's with the dip buyer. Taking a look at the new algorithm, which is the trend following indicators. So we've also got LTPI and MTPI. Still in its testing phase, but I believe it's good enough to start running. This looks like it was a false positive at the moment, but I could be stood wrong and we could actually just go down from here, something like this. But at the moment, it is in a negative trend. Obviously, the long-term trend is still down. We started going down ever since November of last year. So yeah, nothing really new there with the algorithms. That's basically it. Taking a look at the portfolio. So obviously within everything, I did actually take 10% profit of my Bitcoin position around here. So I took it basically there around about 66,000. Obviously I don't regret the decision. It was, I'm just following what the system says and it's done phenomenally for me. At the moment, again, it wasn't really a big size that I took out for Bitcoin, but yeah, I took out 10%, so that's in cash. Did also the same thing for Hyperliquid. Obviously, I was running the Hyperliquid one that I have built, which is, where is it? Yeah, take profit. Obviously, we don't have any new dips buys for Hyperliquids yet. I'll actually just turn that on right now. Liquid dip buyer. Yep, we obviously don't have any since we have actually started running up from here. But I am wanting to say that we will probably, if Hyperliquid ends up going down to this box, which is where I will probably be looking to add in, I will probably obviously add to the Hyperliquid per position. I sold about 25% of my holdings over here. So obviously I'm still, the majority within Hyperliquid. But yeah, that's currently where we are. In terms of other things with Hyperliquid, which I will get into more throughout the video, we do have the 100-week simple moving average spawning in at the 26th of October. So we could see a thing where Hyperliquid might be pricing in the 100-week moving average. So we could see something like this, and then maybe like this as the thing forms, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's everything to do with the portfolio as it stands at the moment. Those are the only two positions that I've already taken in at. I do have a few coins, but again, we'll get into that later throughout the video. Just a warning, this video will be long, so I do suggest everyone to put this on 2x speed because this is going to be quite a long one. But yeah, that's everything to do with the portfolio. Let's take a look at macro. So within the macro stuff, taking a look at FedNet liquidity, we obviously did have a recent drop. Now, obviously, this does have a 130-day forwards pricing, if you know what I mean. So like at the moment, you could assume that this is obviously very highly correlated to Bitcoin. So where we are on Bitcoin is probably over here, and this is what's to come. This kind of big pump before this massive dump. So I do assume Bitcoin will probably go up in the short term, looking around about 70k on this, but that is all yet to be seen. And then obviously we have this recent dump that's happened, which is not that very good, but you know, FedNet still looks like it is in a uptrend as it stands at the moment. That is from me literally just drawing a fucking trend line and doing that. But to me, yeah, it just looks like it's in an uptrend. So I think everything concerned for Bitcoin at the moment still looks good, but I don't think we've reached a bottom yet. That's really all I have for macro at the moment. I will obviously talk about it a bit more when we get into the TradingView data. So let's actually do that now. Oh no, sorry, my bad. Let's also talk about the bonds at the moment. So everything to do with the bond market when it comes to the overall market. Obviously, as you know, bonds are up really high, which is quite bad for asset markets, but they do look like they are coming down. It's anywhere within 5% is quite bad. Like, you want to see this really come down for the US. So we've got US, UK, Europe, China, and Japan. So we do want to see the majority of these come down. The main concern at the moment is US, UK, China, and Japan. Europe is, I don't really pay attention to Europe, but I still bring it up. It is still important, but it's not as important as like China, Japan, UK, and US. I would even consider UK not as important, but like obviously the main one is the US. So we do want to see this start going down if we do want to see asset markets continue to increase. I would say in other news with macro, it's not really a macro data, but just looking at the S&P at the moment, the S&P has risen by quite a lot. It's made an all-time high again, so well done to anyone who bought S&P. Obviously, I'm not a holder of S&P because I can outperform it, but ever since this bottom, it's gone up, 5%, which is quite good, but personally, I think it's overvalued, and it's probably in for a quite decent correction very soon. When that'll be is unclear. It really depends what they do with these bonds, but yeah, that is all to be seen. So yeah, that's everything to do with macro. Take a look at TradingView data. So in terms of the RSI, which I use quite a lot, obviously the RSI based MA has gone below the midline now, which is quite bad. This is actually a quite good medium-term trend indicator, where if you're just using it on the daily, and if you're just like buying when this thing goes above 50, selling it when it goes below, it has proven to work pretty well. So that's something I take a look at, and obviously, you whack it on the weekly. It's also quite good for spotting divergences within the market. So like obviously we had a divergence here where price went down, but the RSI went up here. So yeah, I use the RSI quite a lot, and I found it to work pretty well. So I can turn that off now. Taking a look at stablecoin dominance, my indicator for it does look like we are about to go below this midline, which does actually indicate an uptrend within the market, because obviously people are going out of cash into assets. So that is actually quite good to see. And I do actually think this will probably break this and start trending lower. So that's quite good to see. And then taking a look at my global liquidity indicator, same thing as this, but I've just put it into an indicator. It does actually indicate a bit higher on price, which is what I've just said. So again, we're probably going to expect to see like 70k, mid 70s, and then probably roll over down to this zone, which I'll actually go over this zone in this next part where we go over like the data and all that kind of lot and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's I believe that's everything to do with With trading view data, I haven't really got much more than that. Now, talking about coins before I go any further into the on-chain data. So main coins I'm taking a look at the moment. One is TON, also known as Gram. I am looking to dollar cost average. Now, I did actually buy this a while ago, back when it was trading above the 21-day moving average. I'll actually move this onto this chart because this has a bit better price history. So I was actually planning to buy this when it was, I did actually buy it when it was over here, but then it broke the 21-day moving average, so I kind of just sold it. However, it is within this golden pocket of the Fibonacci, which is obviously kind of good, and there's overall a lot of fear within the coin. Only thing I don't really like about it is it's very reactive to scam pumps, like we had this one over here, when the Telegram founder announced something, and then ever since then it's just been down only. But again, if you were going to buy this, this is a very long-term play. You would be buying this like now and then selling it in like 2027 or 8. So if you are wanting to buy this, I'd say this is probably a good risk to reward here. But yeah, completely up to you. Obviously, I've explained it before, planning to buy back in on Hyperliquid very, very soon. If we get anywhere within, what was it? Yeah, $48, somewhere down here, I think will be a good buy. Another coin is obviously XMR. So this is the #1 biggest privacy coin in crypto at the moment. It has been doing pretty well within an uptrend. So I wouldn't be looking at dips here, but I do actually think this will be a quite high performer going into the next bull market. So I might be taking a position. It's going to be more of a trending swing position I'll take, but yeah, this is definitely one I'm looking at a lot. Obviously, it's not really a negative to it, but this coin is used quite a lot on the dark web for whatever activities you want to be, whatever activities everyone uses on there. It is actually the #1 coin. It was once Bitcoin, but obviously everyone caught on and said Bitcoin was very highly tracked. So a lot of marketplaces switched to Monero, which could be a thing of why this might get taken down. Like I mean, everyone, all the good governments are trying their best to take this down at the moment because it's just such a massive privacy coin at the moment. But I'll definitely be thinking about taking a position in Monero. My thesis for selling is literally just when this thing gets on the news, because then all the governments will definitely be wanting to shut it down, which will be, a massive thing. So yeah, that's basically my thesis for Monero. It's obviously proven itself. It's been around for ages. Like this isn't like a new coin, right? Like its inception started at 2014, and it has done pretty well from this bottom over here to even just current price now. It's done, what's that, 9x, 60x, a 1000x, which is crazy. But yeah, I would definitely say this thing can definitely run a lot further. Will it ever compete to something like Bitcoin? I don't think so. Matter of fact, I don't even know the market cap of this coin. I don't even think I can even find it. But I know it's high, so I would be probably saying it will be probably competing at the same market cap of something like Ethereum. But yeah, also Ethereum, talking about Ethereum, there's a lot of talk online at the moment of saying that Ethereum will start to outperform Bitcoin, which I think could be the case because we have literally consolidated for I mean, how many years has it been now? We start this range, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have consolidated for like literally 6 years now. So this could be the chance where it does begin to start outperforming. But I think it's unlikely because I would say the majority of the market wants to keep it in the space of that. Bitcoin is the number one dog. It's the, it's the biggest cryptocurrency, and it's currently at a $1 trillion market cap. For Ethereum to start running again, I mean, it would literally have to reach a $1 trillion market cap. So if it was going to perform, I would say either it's going to perform on par with Bitcoin, or it's just going to decide to decouple from Bitcoin completely, which the majority of the crypto market is currently doing at the moment. But again, it really just depends on what the Ethereum team are going to decide to do with the coin. But I do think going into the next cycle, we could probably see this, starting to make new all-time highs finally, something like that. Or obviously, it's not going to start going up from here. Like you would be looking at probably something like this, and then like this, and then finally something like that. But kind of guess we'll just see that in due time. I believe that's all the coins, apart from a few deck screeners I want to take a look at. Lighter, I haven't taken a position in this coin. I mean, it's good, but it's not like it is very good. They obviously have the partnership with Robinhood, and I do think this will do very well. But I'm just personally not a fan of it, and I just unless I see it, have a drop of like at least 50%, I'm just not interested in this coin at all. So yeah, I think that's all the coins. Moving into stocks now. I am actually looking and thinking about taking a position in Coin, which is the Coinbase stock. I think if you want exposure to the rest of the crypto market, Coin is probably a really good bet going into next cycle. So I might take a position in Coin. Take-Two Interactive, obviously the stock behind, Rockstar that create all the Grand Theft Auto games. I think probably taking a position in this would also be a good idea. My original plan was to get filled down here, but obviously we didn't get that. Obviously this could be the case where we could see something like GTA 6 launches over here, and then we see something like a crash down as the online hasn't been released yet. And obviously Rockstar have made the majority of their cash through the online part, which they haven't announced when the online is going to come. So we could see something like this. Would I buy here? I would say medium term, maybe. I might take a position here, and then maybe look at around about 55% return on it, something like that. Just as we go into the leading up event of the GTA 6 release. But yeah, that's another one. Taking a look at STRC, it does look like we are coming back to on par with that $100 again after this big crash that happened. So it looks like Michael Saylor and probably a bit of smart money does actually want this to go back up here, but I kind of guess we'll just see that in due time. A lot of people were saying that Michael Saylor was going to be the sacrificial lamb for the crypto market. So like we had FTX collapse. I saw a few things online and from a few people that I'm in a few networks with of saying that he was going to be the sacrificial lamb. I don't really think he is. I think he's sound. I think his business is sound. But yeah, I think he'll be fine. But I kind of guess we'll just have to wait and see in due time. MSTR, obviously, just another version of Bitcoin here, but on the stock market. looks fine. It's just obviously just one parallel. With Bitcoin, Per, which is a leveraged bet of Hyperliquid, does look like it might start going back up again, but I kind of guess we will have to see that in due time. I'll be honest with you, I don't really know that much about all these MNAV things. I just see them as a leveraged bet, but yeah, this could start going back up. I do believe the whole reason why we have been going down on Hyperliquid is because of this and because of a lot of selling from Per, but yeah, I don't really, I'm not too sure how I feel about this. I might take a position in it, I might not. These are all just positions that I'm thinking about, right? And then finally, my last coin, or last stock, should I say, that I'm looking to take a position in is SpaceX, because obviously it's just a classic playbook of it launches, price goes up, the despair happens where everyone loses everything, the forgettingness happens within the coin, and then basically pumps into oblivion, and then everyone's like, oh my god, I forgot about SpaceX, wow, look how high it's trading now. So this could be the case for SpaceX, but kind of guess we'll just have to wait and see. I did remember hearing that Elon is planning to merge SpaceX and Tesla together, which would be kind of interesting if that was the case. So instead of you know, splitting up your portfolio between SpaceX and Tesla, it would just be one stock. But yeah, that could be the case, but I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. I haven't taken a position in any, but these are ones that I am looking at. The main ones I am really looking at the most within stock world is obviously Coin, Take-Two, and SpaceX. Those are like my main ones. I am looking the hardest at to take a position, but I'll obviously update in future market analyses if I will, take a position. Also, I'll update on Twitter. All right, now taking a look at a few other coins. So these are obviously lower cap coins, just before we go into the rest of the on-chain analyses, and then ending with a bit of news. So I kind of guess we'll just start with Ray, work our way down. So Ray is obviously an AI play coin that I am looking to take a position in. Obviously, it did make an all-time high a while ago over here. The majority of this, play was done by a few insiders that I know of, and ever since then it's just kind of died off from here. But the overall technology behind it is still good. The only thing I would have to say is, obviously, with the growth of AI at the moment, they have been left behind a bit, because their whole idea is merging AI with crypto through using, the blockchain technology as a verified receipt, essentially, for whatever AI does and how it runs. But obviously, I believe that new versions of that have came out where it's kind of been left pointless. So I think the team could probably still do well with this. They'll just have to come up with a different alternative to it. But yeah, however, taking a look at price action looks fine. We're obviously making higher lows here, which is good to see. So I will probably be looking to reaccumulate this. I did actually buy a bit over here, and then I sold a bit over here. Well, no, I sold all of it over there. But yeah, I'll definitely be looking at taking a position again into this soon. Another one, which is called Ossobot. So this is a coin that was built on the back end of the MetaMask team. The chart looks cooked. However, the thesis behind it is actually really, really decent. And it was actually built by the team of MetaMask. So I will probably be looking at taking. I might take a small position in this. I mean, it's at such a low market cap, so I think it is free money, and it's either this thing goes to 0, or we do like 100x on it. But kind of guess that will all have to be seen in due time. So yeah, that's also about taking a look at PER, which is like the mascot on the Hyperliquid EVM chain, which is like the meme coin chain of Hyperliquid. It does look like it is the mascot of it. And I think if Hyperliquid does do well, and if the chain does do well into the next bull market, I think this thing could probably do pretty well. Would it hit 1 billion? I would say of how big Hyperliquid is, probably. It could probably hit a billion plus, but this is one I'm really looking at to take a position in. Like it's at a decent evaluation here of 40 mil market cap, which I think is fine. So yeah, PER is definitely one I will be looking at taking a quite decent position in. And finally, Clanker, which is a meme coin on the Solana chain, which the thesis for this is very, very simple. The equivalent of the N word for robots is clanker, right? So everyone will probably be saying clanker over and over again. And I think if the word does well on TikTok, which is at the moment currently really big for meme coins at the moment, thanks to that Black Bull meme that's been doing well. I can't remember his name. All I know is his name. He's called it the Black Bull. Where is it? Black Bull. Yeah, Ansem. Thanks to Ansem and FaZe Rain, is it? On TikTok, they've obviously been doing a quite big, massive onboarding through the TikTok algorithm into crypto. So I think if they probably catch on to something like this, or if someone else does, I think this will probably do pretty well into the future. But at the moment, the chart just, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really a big fan of the chart. Like this candle here, looks like a lot of selling has happened. So I would definitely say it needs to at least hold like this level here. If it goes anywhere below this, I would say you're pretty much looking at it bleeding to 0, unless like we do something like it, bleeds to 0, something like this, and then all of a sudden, FaZe Rain and some start, do a KOL shill on it, and then you literally just see a massive straight line to like, a billion plus, which could be the case. But again, it's literally a thing of it either goes to 0 or it does like 100x. Now, in terms of if it does well, I would say it could probably reach about 500 mil to a billion plus, just because of if we do get a bunch of liquidity back on the Solana chain, it can probably do well again. But kind of guess we'll have to see that in due time. But yeah, anyway, that's all the coins I'm currently looking at to add into the portfolio. I'll let you all know when I do decide to add them all. But yeah, that's that. Anyway, let's move on to the on-chain data. So starting off with Fear and Greed, we're obviously still in fear, which is quite good to see. Definitely within Bitcoin's price at the moment, because okay, yeah, fine, it has gone up, but it's still relatively low from all-time high, which is still pretty good to see. So yeah, we're still in fear with Fear and Greed. Now taking a look at perpetual data really quickly here. Funding rate has been turning, no, that's on the 1 hour. I want to take a look at the daily here. It is still negative across the board. We do have a bit of positive funding over here, which could be a lot of longs being pushed into the market, which you'll actually see on this next one. When I load up CVD over here, this is spot versus futures. We go into this. You can actually see the future market has been leading. Over the spot market. So that's actually quite interesting to see that this is just being led by futures and leverage at the moment. I think it's going to be a thing of a lot of short squeeze. It's about to happen. Obviously, funding is still slightly positive, but I personally think it's negative. Yeah, it's like we had a bit, but like again, you can't just read like this green and just say, oh, it's just positive funding. It's like, no, you want to take like a further look at it, right? Like if it's something like all the way up here, then yes, okay, like this is proper positive. Like a lot of longs are coming into the market, but this I would still say it's still a decent amount of shorts coming in. Taking a look at open interest, obviously we've had this flush, which is quite good to see as price has gone up. Lot of shorts being liquidated. And then obviously taking a look at CVD by trade size. Let's just take a look at the top ones, so these. So obviously the orange one is 10 million to infinity plus. That will always stay elevated because these are like the OGs of crypto, so this will throughout the majority of the time always stay elevated. However, what's interesting is this one, which is 1 million to 10 million, does actually look like they are putting in positions into the market here, which is actually very interesting to see, which to me I think is indicative of us hitting this 70k level over here. And then obviously if I turn these off, all the dumb money positions, which are all these, they're still elevated, but the majority of them looks like they aren't actually positioned in on this run at the moment, which is quite interesting to see. Matter of fact, as I say that, I'm actually part of this cohort. Well, no, I'm not. I am still filled into the market at the moment, but yeah, it just looks like the majority of them aren't actually in this position at the moment. Taking a look at Velo data, of course, everything just decides to crash on me. Go over to chart here now. Why isn't this working? Okay, just have to do this. Refresh it. Anything? All right, we'll come back to that one later. Taking a look at liquidation maps. So Decent Trader, which is our long-term liquidation maps, I've actually been building a lot, and I mean a lot to the upside. And this one isn't going to want, there we go. So as you can see, we have gotten a very lot amount of short liquidations to the upside here. And it's actually built in like a really nice way, how it's like this nice bell curve. I would basically consider this very clean, but also at the same time, we do have a nice bell curve to the downside too. So I kind of guess it's just going to be a race of which one gets hit first. I personally think it's going to be the upside first, and then we'll probably go to the downside. But kind of guess that will be seen in due time. Yeah, this thing is just not loading. It was basically the same as Coinalyze, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's the long-term liquidation maps. Now taking a look at the liquidation heat maps. Taking a look at starting with 1 week. Still a decent amount of liquidations to the downside. It does look like we've just taken out a bunch to the upside on the 1 week. Taking a look at the 1 month. I'm pretty sure it's basically the same story. Once it loads. Yeah, still got a bit to the upside, around about 67,000, but we've still got, you know, all those liquidations down below. Now, what's very interesting about these heat maps is when I zoom out to 1 year, you will actually see the liquidations are actually very scattered, right? How we've got like a liquidation here at 56,000, we've got one here at 61, and then we have one down here at 51,000. And then to the upside, we've got basically the same story. We have one at 67, got one at 77, and then we've got this one at 85. So I personally think, again, we'll probably be ending up taking out some 70,000, and then we'll see a big unwind lower. But again, all of this is just coming in confluence of what my bias is at the moment. So yeah, that's actually very interesting to see. Although, as I say that, it does actually look a lot more dense to the downside. Now, denser doesn't mean that we're going to be, that this is more of a magnet. Obviously, the market can do what it wants, but it's just saying that it's definitely more likely that these will be hit. But it's not saying that these will be hit first, right? It's just saying these are very, very likely to be hit. So yeah, that's the liquidation maps. Now taking a look at CoinGlass cross-sectional maps. In terms of evenly nice bell curves, we obviously got one here. That one's at 64,800, which I do actually believe we've hit. If I'm right, yep, we did hit that. And then we've obviously got these, but they are very, very scattered. So it's very hard to say if they'll be hit. Zooming out to 7-day. Still very messy. We kind of want to take out, you know, these liquidations first, and then taking a look at the rest of that, I think looks good. To the downside, it does actually look a lot more bell curvy. So we could definitely see these liquidations being hit, but at the moment, I don't really think that's the case. Taking a look at 30-day, so 1 month. Again, the more I zoom out, the more kind of scattered it gets. So nothing to really take away from that. And then the 1 year, again, very, very scattered. So yeah, nothing to really see there. Kind of guess we'll take a look at this one too. It's basically the same story as I said before. 7-day. This one actually looks a bit more bell curvy. So we've obviously got this liquidation at 65. However, to the downside, it's very scattered. So looks like we're a bit safe for that one on the downside. 1 month. Yeah, it looks a bit more symmetric to the upside. And then to the downside, looks like kind of shit. And then taking a look at 1 year. That's something I've never seen before. Perfect bell curve, but it's right in the middle. God knows. Maybe to the downside first? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, looks very scattered with that one. Now, taking a look at Max Pain. So this is actually quite interesting. This, again, you're looking for, again, nice bell curves. This is, obviously, we're getting a uni-curve bell curve here, where it's like you've got 2 humps here, which is still likely for it to be hit, but it's just not really what you want to see. However, when I go into Binance, this is really interesting how we have a max pain at 80,000. Now that's actually a level that I don't I'm on the fence of it. I think it could be hit because in my opinion, if we're going to reach 80,000 again, we may as well hit like 90,000. And the reason why I say that is because when I whack on my fair value here, my fair value indicator for Bitcoin, let me just fix this up, get rid of that. The medium, the mean for this, what the fuck did I just do? No, go back. Yeah, the mean for it actually sits at 90,000 at the moment, right? Now, obviously, this is curving down, which does indicate it could reach 90,000, but as it does act as like a literal magnet for price. But I'm just on the fence of it because you could see this and say, okay, we will hit 90,000, and then take a look at FedNet over here and look at where we are, which is here, where we have this pump, and then we have this massive rally over here. So 90,000 could be hit. It's definitely on the table, but is that likely? In my opinion, I don't really think so. But kind of guess that'll all be seen in due time. So yeah, that's Max Payne. Now taking a look at the bids, so this is actually very interesting. When we get them loaded up, which we'll zoom out to 24-hour and then zoom back down. As I zoom this out, we obviously had a lot of, bid support down here where we had a lot of orders filled here, and obviously we had these that got chased up. You see, whenever we get like these bottom bids being filled, it usually means that obviously people are buying the dip, but when people buy low, it doesn't mean price go up, right? It just creates like a floor for price to stop going down. What you want to see for price to go up is obviously these orders to start chasing them to the upside. And that's what we've currently been seeing over here. But however, the problem is these have been like spoofs, because like they've been coming in, but then they basically pull their order from the market. Now, something I have noticed throughout and with using the CoinGlass liquidity heat map is when I do zoom down onto a 4-hour, they are actually quite good for removing these orders when they do get pulled from the market. So like for example, this order over here, if I zoom in a bit, okay, right now actually they've removed it completely. There was actually an order here for like 500, right? But when I zoomed in, like you see where that like table is, where all the price and how much the order is. That was actually reading like 500, but obviously they've removed that completely. So a lot of people have been saying that those orders below price were spoofs. I don't think they are, because they've stayed there for a very long time. However, if the market does decide to start going down again, these could be filled. These could be pulled. But at the moment, I would probably say that yeah, we will go up here as these orders will continue, to start chasing price up higher. Now, on the other side of this, let's talk about to the downside. So obviously we've got a lot of support around about 55 and but below with the final kind of big order. I believe it's oh, we actually have one down here at 34. Okay, that's just ridiculous. But we have like a lot of support around about the 50k region, which is why I'm so hesitant that we will actually end up going lower down to that 50k level, which on price would obviously look like within this box down here. Now, what's actually interesting is I didn't actually see this at 34,000. Will we get this low? Personally, in my opinion, no. I think these people have just put this in the 34,000k region as just a what if. I personally think the lowest will go is 48,000. But again, I could be wrong. We could hit 34,000. I think that would be proper despair. I think that would really shake a lot of people out of the market. Maybe I'm in that group. I don't know. But yeah, if it does go down that low, that would obviously be bad, but also a generational buying opportunity for Bitcoin. So yeah, that's currently where we stand with the bids at the moment. It's obviously still a very good place to start dollar cost averaging, but if we do get into the zone, my God, you better be selling your mother, your brother, your father, fucking sell everyone you can to buy Bitcoin, because this is generational. So yeah, that's that. And finally, taking a look at the super charts, does look like we are having a bit of spot selling happen here, with a lot of future selling too, which is quite interesting to see. So yeah, maybe people are deciding to short here. But in my opinion, I think it would be smart money, because if you look at the open interest candles there, like obviously we have had this flush, so I would say this is probably smart money deciding to short here, which I may be joining them soon. But yeah, that's that. Now taking a look at Hyperdash, extremely profitable, are flat at the moment. They're obviously not short, but they're also not long either. Very profitable, are slightly bullish on Bitcoin again, which is quite good to see. Looks like they're a bit bearish on the S&P. They're bullish on fundamentals. I didn't actually see this on here. Yeah, they're obviously still bullish on S&P and on stocks too. So that's quite interesting to see. And then profitable is obviously bullish. They're a bit bearish on Bitcoin, bearish on stocks, but bullish on fundamentals. So that's kind of interesting to see. Now, taking a look at the rest of the on-chain data. So taking a look at net realized profit and loss. Obviously, the market is still in loss. However, this is progressively getting lower and lower as we are getting closer to the end of this bear market. So that's kind of interesting to see. Taking a look at the 911 was in an inside job dashboard. I did actually highlight a few things when I went on to this earlier. Looks like we're getting a few bottom signals here. Nothing from here. Adjusted net unrealized profit and loss is obviously in red, and this has usually always indicated a bottom, so that's something you want to pay attention to. Nothing there really, nothing there. I do believe we did get a bottom signal on this. Holy shit, piss off. Yeah, we did get a bottom signal over here, so that's kind of interesting on that, but nothing really new. We obviously got net unrealized profit and loss, which actually I'll just load this up on another chart. BTC net profit and loss, because I'm pretty sure I can just bring this up here because that's asking me to pay for it, which I do not want to do. But yeah, as you can see, the place you usually want to be buying when using this indicator is when we are within the green zone, which we're getting very, very close to. And in my opinion, I think if we were going to go below this, this would be basically reading like 48,000. So that's quite interesting to see. Taking a look at the rest of this, inter-exchange flow looks like it's red, so that's obviously not a good sign. What else have we got? Ah, yes, the Sharpe ratio for Bitcoin is signaling a bottom signal, as the purple has always signaled bottom. CGD, nothing really there. Volatility is obviously very, very low. Now, me included, I was actually of the belief that whenever we saw like low volatility, it did indicate, you know, higher prices, because that's what happened throughout here and then here. But obviously that hasn't been the case now, because, you know, as an asset grows, it becomes less volatile over time, because it takes a lot more, you know, capital to move the asset. So this is very questionable. Maybe we could start seeing an explosive move to the upside, but in my opinion at the moment, it's unclear. Sharpe ratio short term, obviously it signaled a bottom signal over here, but hasn't signaled it again. Now personally, in my opinion, this is a sign of strength. I don't think this is bad to see, because if we actually zoom in, yeah, it's basically the same story. How it's one of those indicators where it's like you'll have like the bottom signal, but then like another low will come, but then it doesn't fire. And the reason why it doesn't fire is because there's so much strength within the next move, which is obviously great to see. Long-term holder, short-term holder, SOPR ratio is obviously in the red, which is great to see. And then finally this is very interesting. No, sorry, that's not what I'm after. Supply profit, supply ratio momentum. Obviously fired a few bottom signals over there. Now, this is interesting. Long-term holder net position change. It does actually look like they are beginning to unwind their positions here, which in my opinion is indicative of my bias of, again, go up to 70,000 and then unwind lower. I think that is what they're beginning to do. They're beginning to unwind around about the 70k zone, and then obviously price will drop. And it looks like on the dumb money side, they're doing the exact opposite, which is great to see. So that's really interesting. This is really interesting to see, in my opinion. Obviously, we've got another bottom signal from this, which is adjusted long-term holder MVRV realized price, which is really interesting to see on this. And it does look like we are beginning to reach some sort of bottom signal on that. And then finally, I'm going to end with market cap change and Bitcoin price, which is actually indicating that we are beginning to go into an uptrend here, which is really sick to see. As you can see, we have the same thing happening over here, and it's beginning to happen again over here. And you know, the indicator within of itself has done phenomenally throughout Bitcoin's history. So yeah, this is definitely something you do want to pay attention to. When it does go below, it does indicate long-term trends to the downside, but I believe it also indicates quite good bottom signals. So definitely pay attention to that, because that's really interesting. And then from here, there's not really much more I want to talk about. We've obviously got like a few of the bottom signals that have been firing over here, but apart from that, nothing really else. So on to check on chain data. So Bollinger Bands, I believe this is the weekly, and then we've got the daily. Yeah, we've got daily. So obviously we are within the bottom end of these, which is quite interesting. The midline for this is set at 69,000, which again is probably an area that we will hit. It does look like in the past we have like obviously touched the midline here, and then we've just crashed below it again. If we do get above the upper Bollinger Band, that would be a great place to sell, and that's sitting around about 75k. Obviously, if we do go above that, then we would probably hit about 90,000, but I'm not too sure if that's on the table or not yet. And obviously taking a look at the daily, looks like we are above the midline here. We might hit that upper Bollinger Band soon, but that I kind of guess that will just be a find out and see. Choppiness index, which indicates trends, does look like we are getting very, very close to a trending market soon, as the 1 day has reached its top. The 1 week isn't there yet, but again, this can start, you know, just falling down very, very soon. So definitely paying close attention to this, as you know, the market is at the moment in a very short-term trend. Obviously, my MTPI doesn't agree with this, but I think within very, very short-term indicators, it is definitely the facts that this is probably a short-term trend at the moment. So yeah, that's choppiness index. So get ready for an uptrend soon, I would probably say. I'll come back to this later, because this is actually really interesting. Oh, actually, no, fuck it, I'll talk about it now. So I want you to pay attention to every single year, according to the 4-year cycle, within August, what price is done, right? So in 22, is that 22? Sorry, my eyes are not the best at the moment. We went down 14%, and then 2018, it was basically the same story. I think it was 2018 we had a bear market. Am I chatting out my arse here? I think it was 2018. Oh, for fuck's sake. I think it was 2018 we had a bear market. Yeah, 2018. So 2018 in August, yep, you can see we had a bear market, and then it's been the same thing every single year within the 4-year cycle of a bear market. August has been a down year. Now, looking at September, actually, I haven't actually taken a look at September, of what September looks like. but it basically looks like the same thing, but it's not as strong. Obviously, this is looking at past data and assuming that it will continue into the future, which is not what I'm saying. But finally, for October, which is where it should mark the bottom according to the 4-year cycle, that is if you believe in it, 2022, which is, fuck me, I cannot see for shit. Yeah, it does look like an up year, so we could suspect that to happen. Why the hell have I not been just doing that instead? That makes it so much easier. Yeah, August looks like a down year. Same thing for 2018, down year. So I would say for August we will probably again hit that 70k level, but then after we hit 70k, we will probably begin to unwind further down. So yeah, that's that. Now, this is something I do also want to talk about, which is the Bitcoin index performance since halving. As you can see, it is getting progressively lower and lower returns over time. So obviously, when we started in 2012, we had quite high performance. Sorry, I've got a really sore throat for some reason. It's probably from me talking so much. And then obviously, you know, same thing happened from 2012 to 2016, but obviously it was a lot lower. Same thing again, lower, lower. And then this has been the lowest performing cycle, which again, like, it's like what I said before. As an asset grows, it takes a lot more capital for it to be, you know, trending higher and higher, right? And we're at a point now where Bitcoin is a $1.3 trillion asset class. At the peak that we just had, it was a 2.5, right? Like, I'm sorry to say this to you, the days of Bitcoin going up like 10x within a year, like, they're over, they're done, right? Like, buying here, selling there for a 5x, or you know, buying down at the bottom here, selling at the top here for like a 20x, those days are gone, right? It's not happening again, right? The asset is too large for that to happen. So if you are looking for higher returns, Bitcoin's not your best bet. You're probably probably want to look at things like Hyperliquid, Gram, XMR, Light, so on and so forth. You know, these lower market cap assets, right? So this is just a point I wanted to bring up, because I know a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, I'm thinking about investing into Bitcoin, so on and so forth. But it's like, yeah, but how much do you actually want to make? Because you're not going to get the returns on Bitcoin. Bitcoin value days destroyed. I took a look at this. Take a look at hot, which indicates tops, and then you've got cold that indicates bottoms. So this is indicating a bottom signal at the moment, which is kind of cool to see. MVRV Z-score ratio. This is kind of interesting to see, where obviously, as you know, whenever we hit below the realized price, it basically indicates a bottoming region. We obviously haven't hit that yet, but I think we are getting quite close to it. Which, yeah, that's currently sitting at 59,000, and then this is sitting at 52,000. So in my opinion, I would definitely be putting orders, you know, below 52,000, because that definitely could be the case that we do end up going below that. Bitcoin open interest price change. So as I said before, on the Coinalyze chart, we are in a leveraged rally, which is great to see. And then take a look at the Chain fundings. It does actually look like funding rate is coming down, which is indicative of people beginning to putting in shorts, which is, like I said but before, within the the Coinalyze chart, that as much as funding rate is green, it doesn't mean that the majority of them are still long. You know, a lot of them are probably closing positions and beginning to go in short. And this is literally what we're seeing now, which is great to see. Now, when I put on adjusted funding rate, yeah, it does look like it is negative, which is kind of good to see. Now it just kind of it is kind of annoying because I obviously do want to be shorting here, but at the same time you don't want to be going with the normie consensus. So maybe a long is better here, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, now going into short-term holder, MVRV ratio momentum. Obviously we are still positive throughout this, so that's quite interesting to see. Short-term holder realized profit. People are coming into profitable again, which is, you know, interesting to see. Now, of course, that they are allowed to be in profit. You know, this isn't a case of like, no, you're only allowed to be in loss. Well, obviously, when they are in loss, it's a good bottom buying indicator. But when they are in profit, it does tend to also indicate uptrends, which is quite interesting. Yeah, you can see in a bull market, it does indicate, you know, uptrends when people are in profit. Definitely across like this zone over here. So yeah, that's also something I'm keeping a very close eye on. And then finally, short-term holder MVRV indicator, which we've got the midline over here, cost basis at 67,000. Funny number, I know, and we're getting quite close to it. But again, what you're looking for with this indicator for an uptrend is when we go above the short-term holder cost basis, and when we actually begin to trade above that, that's when this indicates an uptrend. We obviously haven't reached that yet, so yeah, again, this is another indicator I'll be keeping a close eye on. And finally, ending it all off with the Bitcoin Psycho Extreme Oscillator. We obviously had a buy signal over load, there we are, where we had a buy signal on the 10th of June, on the 8th of June, sorry, or was that? Yeah, June. And then ever since then, obviously we have consolidated sideways. Now, obviously that signal is in profit, which is quite interesting to see. But we haven't seen anything like this yet, where it's an actual real bottom or something like this, right? This is just like a light bottom signal. I think the real bottom signal will happen when we go below 55,000. So yeah, that's everything to do with check on chain data. Now, this is actually very worrying. I decided to look up Google Trends when it comes to, you know, what people Googling at the moment. And yeah, it looks like the interest of meme coins is growing. Now, this doesn't surprise me in the slightest, as a lot of meme coin content has been going around on TikTok at the moment, thanks to Ansem and his team. So yeah, I'll definitely say meme coins going into the next cycle will definitely still be a thing. I don't have a doubt in my mind that it won't. But yeah, meme coins I would definitely be looking out for. However, this does actually indicate a top signal, in my opinion, that we are beginning to see this rise. I'll say if it gets anywhere up to these levels again, up here, then yeah, that's probably a big problem. But again, in my opinion, if I load up Dex Screener again, because I haven't actually checked the Ansem coin in a while. Where is it? The hell is it? Fuck's sake. Black Bull. When we check out Ansem on here, it has gone down quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but it's gone down a bit from here down to here. So it's gone down 60%. I would say if it does begin to make an all-time high again, maybe above 500 mil, then obviously that would make this chart explode. So yeah, this is definitely something I'm looking at. And actually, the fact that I've just said that actually makes me want to put a position in on this. I'm going to add that to my watch list now. Anyway, yeah, so that's meme coins. Now, taking a look at the rest of the market when it comes to all of this, everything's on the down. No one cares about Bitcoin, crypto, Ethereum, or Solana. Literally no one cares anymore, which is great to see. because all the normies, we can still use them as exit liquidity. And I also decided to take a look at artificial intelligence, and it does seem it is going up a bit. I did try and like compare it with crypto, but just nothing came up. Like the chart was flat, so that's quite interesting. Now getting into the news, material indicators, which is basically another platform, which is the equivalent of mixing Coinalyze, CVD, and then CoinGlass, bids and asks, liquidity map to get together. They obviously have built that themselves, which is this, which has their own like, orders and that. It does actually look like, what does he actually say? Continues to flirt with the key moving average range. Very little exchange. Spoofy 80 million order from last week made it into profit, but we haven't seen big distribution yet. There's a good chance price could push higher, but until we start seeing weekly candle closes above the 21 week moving average, there's no point discussing a breakout, which I do actually agree with him. I do actually agree. So yeah, it does look like those spoofy orders are finally being filled, meaning that they weren't spoofs all along. So yeah, that's kind of interesting to see. This is just a post. Gold often bottoms June to October midterms. Yeah, so this is just a post about gold and about how it's likely looking for a bottom, which is actually something I didn't talk about with gold when I load it up here. Which is actually, what the fuck is that? Holy shit. I didn't even see that. My God, look at that. 4% on gold, jeez. That's okay, right? That is surprising. That is kind of mad. I might want to take a position in gold now. So yeah, no, but the guy is right. But of course, this is historical data. It doesn't always mean it's going to happen again and again and again. But it's very interesting to see that. Now, here's a rumor that Cashcat may be trading on Robinhood soon. So, and now obviously Cashcat is the currently biggest meme coin on Robinhood, the actual like meme coin chain. If you look at Cashcat, so this might be something you might want to, take exposure in if you wish to, as a thing of buy the rumor, sell the news. So when it gets listed, you obviously sell then. But that's obviously something that you can do if you wish. But in my opinion, I think it's probably a good play to have. Annoyingly, I didn't buy it, which is really fucking annoying. But I would say if it gets a dip or something, I might end up doing it. But obviously there is a lot of liquidity on Robinhood, so if everyone does decide to stop buying this, I would say this thing can run pretty hard. So yeah, that's Cashcat. Get rid of that now. One post from Killer, who basically called the Bitcoin top, and looks like he's buying the Bitcoin bottom, is saying that we might go a bit lower here or higher. If Bitcoin doesn't break 60k next month, also you can kiss 50k goodbye. I didn't mention in the MO pivot that we see to the upside in August. Yeah, so he's basically saying that we could see Bitcoin break higher, which I think it could be the case, but in my opinion, we've just got so much demand that wants to be filled down here, and a lot of liquidation is lower. So I think it's possible that we could just not hit 50k, which again is fine. I've got enough, systems to get me allocated elsewhere, including the LTPI and MTPI, so I can obviously use them to my advantage. But yeah, that's a quite decent post to take a look at, to be honest with you. Final Bitcoin bull trap ends next week. So this is just a classic engagement post. You don't want to be paying that much attention to these. Again, it's just magic fucking lines on a chart that means absolutely nothing. So this could be the case. Like, as I said, hit 70k and then unwind lower. But kind of guess we'll just have to wait and see for that. Still holding my hype short here. So this guy is shorting hype, which in my opinion is a bit fucking stupid. He's got an entry price at 55,000. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, 55k over here. Like, I'll be honest with you, trying to day trade hype to make very large returns is just stupid. It's such an unpredictable asset. Like, you can't predict it. It is completely decoupled from crypto and stocks, to be honest with you. It's so unpredictable. Like, the system I've built for it, like, it's still in its testing phase, and I don't regret selling over here because obviously realizing profits is always good. But trying to like trade this to make big returns, in my opinion, is just stupid. And this guy will most likely get liquidated. So kind of guess we'll just have to see on that. That is one big loss, 380,000. This guy going over his next trade setup. Now, I do actually think this guy is right with his bias of that, of shorting and us going lower. But I just think he's way too early at 65,000. And I think that's going to be the case with a lot of people where they're going to start shorting very, very soon. Like, they're going to start shorting like here and saying, oh yeah, like I'm going to short down here. But then you're just going to see price rip and rip and rip up to around about 70,000, where they'll get liquidated. And at that point, you know, that's when us smart money will begin to start shorting, and, you know, we'll end up start making a lot. So yeah, that's that. One from Watcher Guru. Michael Saylor, not Michael Saylor, Michael Burry has said the stock market is near a major top and possibly a 1978 type fall. Now, I do agree with him, but I just, in my opinion, I think I'm 50-50, to be honest with you on it. Like, it could be the case. Like, obviously S&P has reached an all-time high, like I said before, but like, are we expecting like fucking 2008 all over again? God no. Like, you have to realize what happened in 2008. Like I'm really sorry to say this. I really doubt this will ever happen again. Like, really, of course it might happen again, right? Because the market can do whatever the hell it wants. But again, this crash was worldwide. You know, it was mainly done by the banks. You know, giving out stupid mortgages. And do I think this will happen again? It could, but I just don't see the data supporting it at the moment. So I'm not of the belief that it'll happen again. But of course, never say never. But yeah, I was that from Watcher Guru. Russia has officially signed the crypto market structure bill into law. This means nothing. This literally means nothing. Russia isn't even that much impactful for the market, so like, the race is not on. Like, this means nothing. This guy is longing SpaceX, which again, like I talked about, the classic playbook where everyone forgets it. So yeah, that's again very interesting to see. $100 billion worth of SpaceX shares get unlocked tomorrow. So that's actually very interesting. Where I actually think for SpaceX, if this is the case, we could actually see something like quick pump, and then we just continue lower. I would probably say between, if that was the case, I would say anywhere between 90,000 to 80,000 is where I would be wanting to buy SpaceX, but kind of guess that'll just have to be waiting to be seen. Now I'm going to go over a few of the top traders that I like to follow and what they're saying. So 100x, which is a guy that's been in crypto for a very, very long time, currently saying that degens are piling in longs, which he was basically saying that they were wrong. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't really think they were. Like, they're in profit. Like, they went up, the market went up 3%, so I think they're fine, which is quite interesting. And they're basically going over for the entire month. He's been short. He's also been scalping Hyperliquid and Sol. This guy has done really, really well. He has also said that he's thinking of seeing low 40s on hype. That's your accumulation point. So quite good to see opinions from the professionals. Take a look at Dr. Profit, which, you know, as obviously he did quite well of longing the bottom and selling the top. From everything that I've seen, so this one is basically the same story about how if we break above 66,000, then we will probably end up pushing quite higher up. So that's quite interesting to see from him. But this guy has basically flipped his bias. So he was actually thinking that we were going to go a bit more lower. He's saying that that's not the case anymore. And he actually did close a bunch of his shorts. But yeah, he's basically saying he's wanting to accumulate Bitcoin here now, which is quite interesting to see. But overall, I don't really see that much from him about accumulation on anything else. He is also saying that Ethereum will rally again, which is, again, another very interesting thing to see. So yeah, it's Dr. Profit. Taking a look at ATB and finally Degen, which these two guys are friends of 100x. These guys have been trading, coins like Pump and just a bunch of others. They've been doing really, really well. These guys don't really explain anything. They just kind of just post their trades saying, you know, I'm shorting here or I'm longing here. But it does look like these guys are shorting Pump, which, let's actually see the chart here. Crypto. What was his entry? Close to 2250. So I would say basically there. So the guy does look like he is in profit at the moment, but he could definitely get stopped out with that. So yeah, that's that. And then finally Degen. Just sharing his trades. Looks like he's been doing well, and that's basically it for everything to do with market analysis, really. There's not really much more I want to cover, to be honest with you. The final thing I will cover is obviously where I think Bitcoin is going next and my overall thoughts on it. Again, it's going lower. It's going down to 55,000 to maybe 48k. Hyperliquid, same thing, going down to low 40s. That's your accumulation point, like 100x said. Overall, the market looks very choppy at the moment. I do not suspect Bitcoin to start making any real all-time highs soon. I think it's going to take at least a good year or so, but of course I could be proven wrong. And at the moment, my main focus is just accumulation, as I do believe this is the time where you do want to be accumulating these coins. So yeah, guys, that's basically all for now. Sorry this was a long one, but obviously monthly analyses will obviously always be long. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments section below. Of course, and always remember the algorithm that I use, which is the Axiom Algo. This is free. It's in the link in the description with my WAP. And yeah, guys, that's all for now. I'll see you all in the next video. See you later.